But before that, I want to talk about a hot topic. Who in this room is working with or is building anything with generative AI? Okay, about 5-6 people. Okay. Anybody building agentic AI products?
Playing around.
Playing around. Started. You have clients?
Internal clients and free external clients.
Paying clients for generative AI, agentic products.
Agentic products, we are initiated innovation with them.
Okay.
Initially, we have built GenAI applications. They have adopted it, and now we are moving to agentics.
Right. So, what I am seeing, so this session is about our experience in the last, 18 months building agentic AI products and trying to sell them. And as you can see, this is a small section. Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah. So I forgot what I was saying. So there's been so much noise about generative AI, agentic AI in the last 18 months. Tell me one B2B product that you know of which is an agentic AI that you use daily. There's very, very few. A lot of it is still noise. I believe generative AI is here to stay, but building POCs I think is possible. Selling a B2B product to an enterprise customer is freaking hard. That's the broader context, just to build some credibility, and we have done that. So we have built an agentic AI product. We have sold it to B2B customers. We are using it at enterprise scale. I'll talk about the scale a little bit. It's very small, but that is, hey, hi. So that is the Agile piece I want to talk about a little bit here today, about how we realize that when you build generative AI products, you have to get your customers closer to you than you ever have before. Otherwise, they're not going to buy it. You'll build it, it'll be really cool, but nobody will use it. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. Both of us, Sneha and I, are co-founders. We used to work at ThoughtWorks. I was there for about 10 years. Sneha was there for about 6-7 years. The last quote-unquote Agile consulting project I did was 10 years ago. So I've not done anything in the pure play Agile consulting space in 10 years. But we have tried to use what we have learned, the principles in what we build. What we do, our company's name is GeekTrust. So what we do at GeekTrust is we help companies hire tech talent. So by that, developers, QAs, DevOps, data engineers, and so on. We have worked with about 600 odd clients in the last 10 years. We are based out of Bangalore. We are a team of about 60-70 folks. So that's a quick intro about us. How we used to do this is we used to have our own AI. So we built our own AI products that could evaluate code and recommend who you should interview. Anyway, I won't get into too much of what we used to build, but this is a quick introduction to us. Can anyone explain to me what an AI agent is? So we'll go by step, okay? I think most of us know this, but just so that we are baselining ourselves, what's an AI agent? What does that mean? Right? What does agentic AI mean? What is generative AI? What is an AI agent? Whoever gets the right answer gets a mentor. I'm cheap. I should have, my plan was to get here early, buy some chocolates, and give it out to people who give the right answer, but I can always blame everything on traffic. Yes. What's your name, sir? Ketan. Yes, Ketan.
So, to put it a simple way.
Sure.
So, suppose I like Korea.
Yes.
A lot of Korean I want Korea. And I have somebody who knows about that.
Okay.
So,
not particularly.
anyways, that's fine.
Yeah, I can hear you. You are audible. The mic is not.
If I give some rule-based instructions
Right.
to a specific ABC kind of a thing called as agent, and he knows about veg biryani a lot, then it's more about that it provides me what veg biryani flavors could be. But it seeks an approval by me. Chalega kya? Is it okay to you? Like, is it okay for you to eat? That's what agent is. The agent knows what is, but it's rule-based. Agentic AI, it's on its own. I'm not sure what I need to eat. Forget about it. I've already ordered to you. You should have the food by 7:15 p.m. That's your biryani, have it. So anything that thinks on its own for you is what agentic AI is. AI agent is more waiting for approval from you. And it completely comes on the concept of autonomous intelligence. I think that's how I would like to put it up.
Yeah, thanks, Ketan. That is fairly well put. What happened to my... Oh, yeah. Actually, I skipped my agenda slide. Sorry about that. So I'll talk about this, generative AI, agentic AI products. I don't think it works. Okay, we'll talk about our approach. We'll talk about users, product market fit a little bit, the role of a PM as we see it. We'll touch upon automated tests and tool selection. So that's generally what we'll cover. But any question, like I said, I'm here. We are here mostly to share our experience of building with generative AI and from the hat of a product manager. So this is the classic definition of of an AI agent. An AI agent is a loose term for software or collection of softwares that can do tasks that usually would have fallen in the realm of human cognition. Ketan is right. An LLM by itself is just dumb, right? It'll just complete your sentences. But you can plug in together, you can piece together things to build an agentic AI product that can do outcomes, that can achieve outcomes for you. So I think we mostly know this, but just setting the baseline for what this is. And what can you give me some examples of? Ketan, here you go. Oh, sorry, man. Give me some examples. What agentic AI products do you use? Have you seen? Any agentic AI product you have seen or you have heard of? What's that? In restaurants. Okay. Ketan is focused on
I've seen medical diagnosis.
medical diagnosis for agentic AI. Okay. What else? Deloitte girls. What agentic AI products are you hearing of? You know what I'm tired of hearing of agentic AI products? SDRs. Sales. Right? The most marketing mails I get, the most ads that I see, the most things that I see on LinkedIn, maybe it's because I'm trying to sell, but I see a lot of SDR agentic AI products, which claims that it will go scout for the best client, will send a mail, will follow up, will get the required response, and then let me know when I need to get in. Right? So that's a classic definition of an agentic AI. It gets an outcome for you from start to end. So AI SDRs are extremely common. What else? Any other examples? Medical diagnosis is another one. Yes. Travel bookings. Right? I've not seen a lot of ads for that. I don't travel much perhaps, but probably Sneha is. But yes, definitely can do that. What else? Anything else? Sneha, can you move? I don't remember what I put. So AI SDRs, content creation optimization. So this is something even the big players are saying. Adobe has released something along this, which says it can put a page for you, depending on what users interact with, the page changes by itself, optimizes and starts getting you better conversions, right? That includes the content, the placement and everything. Chat support. So I met somebody recently who was talking about IT support, using agentic AI for basic level of IT support before anybody actually needs to get in. And HR requests, yeah. So these are the sort of clients. Okay, next slide, Sneha, please. So I've explained to you what we do, right? We are in recruitment. We help companies hire tech talent. I think Jason knows what we do. And what's your name, sir? Kaustav. And Kaustav also knows what we do. But when we used ChatGPT first, I don't know, 18 months ago, I was blown away. I was blown away because I thought the potential for this is immense. And the only thing, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but the only thing that holds you back is your vision. What do you want to build with generative AI? I thought the world was your oyster pretty much. You could do a lot of things with it. And recruitment, I don't know how many of you are in recruitment, but there's a lot of repetitive manual tasks that go into recruitment. Across the world, the fastest growing job posting is for junior recruiters on LinkedIn. Because somebody needs to scan those resumes, somebody needs to pick up the phone and talk. So recruitment is a space which is ripe for a lot of disruption, right? With generative AI. It will happen. It may not happen today, but it will happen effectively at some point. So we were thinking about what should we build. We could have built something which parses resumes and which which could have passes resumes, reads the resumes, tells people what resumes to look at and to call and which one to shortlist and etc. But we did not. We didn't do that. We didn't do that because we believed that a lot of people would do this. So I'm putting on my product manager hat right now and ask me any questions if you have. Okay, imagine this is the space which is just starting to grow. There's a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of interest. A lot of people are building POCs, which means there will be a lot of noise. As a customer, as a client, our clients are large, or mostly we go after large enterprises. They are going to get a lot of people saying they will do this. So we wanted to differentiate, and I don't know, I guess we were a little bit cocky. We wanted to build something which is at a slightly higher level of cognition than reading a resume and parsing it. So I'll show you what we finally ended up building in the next slide. Is this slide offable? Oh, okay, fine. I need to play a video.
The biggest hurdle to hiring is finding time from tech teams to run interviews. Clone your best tech interviewers. Introducing the Geek Trust AI Interviewer. The AI interviewer runs code pairing interviews just like a senior developer would, allowing you to run hundreds of interviews in parallel. Let's see how. Begin by tailoring the AI interviewer to the specific role you're recruiting for. Candidates can initiate the interview with a simple click. The AI interviewer guides candidates through each step. It presents candidates with real-world coding problems to test the candidates' problem-solving abilities and coding expertise. After coding, candidates receive instant code review comments, offering them an opportunity to refine their solutions. The AI interviewer fosters interactive discussions, enabling candidates to defend their solutions and engage in constructive feedback sessions. Candidates are also asked questions on their code and on different technical concepts, and the AI interviewer digs deeper into their knowledge, just like a human interview. Rest assured, our proctoring system ensures a secure and reliable interview experience. With the camera always on and the screen always shared, candidates' progress is monitored in real time. Upon completion of the interview, you get a detailed set of interview notes which give you insights into the candidate's strengths and weaknesses. Transform your hiring process. Get started today.
So this is what we finally ended up building as our first step. We believe that across functions, humans and AI agents will work together. It's not going to happen today because it's not easy to build something at enterprise grade that reliably works, but it will happen. It might take another couple of years, but this is going to be the future that we are betting on. So we believe our agents will work with recruitment teams to help them hire better. And the first agent we chose to build was an AI interviewer that runs code pairing interviews. So this is the context of what we have built. For good or for bad, that's what we went down the path of, and I'll share some more learnings around what we did. Yes, sir.
This is the second stage of the interviewing process, or so just a thought. See, there are 100 people applying for a role, right? You want to interview all the 100, that's a possibility is there, right? And humanly, it is not possible to go through 100. That's the problem we're trying to solve. So, how are you kind of visioning, right? Do you want to interview all the 50 so that you give more opportunity, or you want to, because you filter first and then give only to a certain folks?
Correct. What's your name, sir?
Sri Krishna.
Yeah, Sri Krishna. So thank you. You are right. That is another problem. We didn't choose that problem to solve right now. We will go after that problem as well later. We are going after this problem, and can anybody guess why? We are going after the problem of technical interviews before we got into recruiters. Any guesses why? I spoke about why, it helps us differentiate and all of that. But there's another reason, which is to put it very bluntly, the real reason, the business reason why we went after this. Absolutely. The bandwidth of the tech team. If you're a technology company, what is your biggest asset? Your tech team and their time. And who amongst your tech team is running interviews? The senior people. And imagine you are, TCS, and you're looking to hire for one project 100 people, right? How many people do you need to interview? And your best team people are going into that. So we believed that we had a business case to go to engineering leaders and tell them, we will save your engineering team's time by doing this. Of course, nobody believes us. And I'll show you why we were able to win their belief. How did we get all of that? I'll come to that in a bit. But
the rejection ratios in that round one are really high, 70% rejection ratio. So technically, 70% of your tech team's time that is going into interviews are wasted.
Yeah, yes. Right.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So, there will be some kind of questions, and they can be structured, right? And we use that as a primary screening before actually the person can proceed to the next one. Like you said, right? Our time is quite limited. So, how it is different than the model that was given 10 years ago? I understand that it might be intelligent, it might pose the next question based on possibly what you answer. But wasn't that there even when we tried geometric exams in GMAT? That also used to give us a question based on my previous answer, based on my skill. Right? So how is it different?
So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to take more questions on the product itself.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. Because I think this is a product which ignites a lot of questions and a lot of debate. So I will talk to you. What's your name? Soumik, I'll talk to you after this session, right? Because I want to try and stick to what our learnings were from an agile perspective, from a product management perspective. Whether this product is the right product, I don't know, man. We'll build it out. We'll see if customers buy it, it works, right? We'll talk about, if we have time, I'm happy to take this at the end. But right now, I'm not going to take questions on whether this was the right product to build or not. But this is the product we ended up building. Okay. The next thing that we hit up on is, everybody and their uncle was building with generative AI, right? And putting out saying, we are doing this, we are doing that. My Twitter is flooded with only this. Same with LinkedIn. And we were in this unique space, at least I thought it was unique, where we have been in tech for 20 years. I have, Sneha's a lot younger. I've been in tech for 20 years. I've been in recruitment for 10 years. And we have built AI for 5 years, our own AI. So we had this interesting mix of being in technology, being in domain, and building with AI. So I thought we were fairly uniquely placed to build a product, because when you build with generative AI, right, domain knowledge matters. The nuances matter, the experiences of what you have matters. It actually brings domain experts more to the fore than ever before, right? So our thought was, do we build in stealth because we don't want others to copy what we were building, or do we build with customers? It's not necessarily mutually exclusive, but broadly, build, go in a corner, build something, or work with customers and build it together. And my advice is, we from the get-go started building with customers, right? I cannot emphasize how important that was for us. But what is the moat with generative AI? When you're building a generative AI product, what is your real moat? I don't have a proper answer to that. Potentially everybody can build what we can build, but they don't have 20 years of, very few people will have this mix, 20 years of technology knowledge plus all of the things I said. So we are hoping that is our moat and we are proceeding ahead. When we meet investors, they ask us, what is your moat? And I say, I don't know. What is the moat for any other company down the road? We really don't know. What was Slack's moat when they started? But all of us are using Slack now. So our approach, I'm going to talk about our approach of building with AI. I'm just checking if I've missed anything. Okay, a question for you again. And if you give the exact answer I have in my head, you win a Mentos. What is the most important thing when you build with generative AI? The model, the problem, the prompt, context what you give, the data. No, Jason is close. It's not about the tool. The most important thing is, what the hell do you want to build? What is the problem you're looking to solve, and what will you build? I meet, because we're in the technology hiring space, right? We meet a lot of startups. A lot of founders come to us in a weekly basis. We're meeting at least 2 to 3 companies, and very few of them know what they want to build. Some of them have raised money also. They've raised capital. They still don't know what they want to build, because the possibilities of generative AI is so vast that it's hard to pinpoint something and pick something. I met a founder last week. He had pivoted from what he was building 3 weeks ago. He was building SDRs, no surprise. And then he's pivoted to building something else now.
Second-time founder.
Yeah, second-time founder.
It's hard to figure out what to do.
So we spent a long time initially just crafting out what the problem statement we are going to tackle and what is our vision for solving for that. And it's important that that is there. Otherwise, you can go in different paths. Like Sri Krishna sir was saying, I have people ask me, why don't you build this? Right? Why don't you? We spoke to one guy. He wants to interview 20,000 LIC agents in a month. And he was asking us, I'll pay you, can you build it? No, man, that's not what I want to do. So it's possible, right? There are so many use cases, so many life insurance agents, right? So many use cases of this that you have to be clear what your vision is. It matters not just for the company, but for the people as well. I still remember the first day when Sneha, me, and the tech team got together, our principal product manager, I don't know what to build, right? We were trying to figure out what we need to build, right? And so that vision has to be clear. Just hold on, Sneha. Vision, value, and viability. I found 3 V's. So these 3 V's have to be together. Vision has to be there. You have to provide value, and that has to be viability. That is where your model comes in, the data comes in, all of that comes in together. To do what we did no training. This is just straight off the bat, OpenAI, that's it. Yeah. So what's possible? Our approach to building is this. What do we want to build? Be very clear with that. Do customers want this? So because we have been in the recruitment space for so long, am I on time? What, till 11:15? Okay, I'm going to go a little faster. I've not gotten any product management-y stuff yet. What do customers want? Because we had that network, we were able to connect with a lot of customers, ask the right questions and understand if they would value this. The next topic was, if we have to sell to Madam's point, what is your name, ma'am? Kartiki. To Kartiki's point, innovation customers are interested in, but will they buy it? They will buy it only if you can fit into their existing workflows and it is reliable. Let's move on. Will all stakeholders. When you build with generative AI, believe me, your stakeholder list will increase, right? Everybody wants in because they don't believe it will work, because they believe it will be unbiased. And I take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, but I'm sitting this meeting with a customer. She leads a billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar IT services company, and she's asking me, when AI runs interviews, how do you know it is not biased? Fair question. And my response to her is, my AI does not know anything about the candidate, right? It knows nothing. It just knows the candidate's name. Other than that, I don't need the candidate's resume. I don't need to know anything. And in my head, my question, which I didn't ask her, is, you run, 10,000 interviews a month across 1,000 people. How do you know they are not biased? You have no way of tracking if your manual interviews are biased. I can at least run the data, see if there are errors and review it. You cannot. But the list of stakeholders increased dramatically. Sneha, just go back. This one, can AI fit into our existing workflows? As a product manager, this is something you have to understand. For us, it was easier, like I said, because we were already in the space. We were working with a bunch of people. Yes, sir.
I see in organizations that they automate a completely wrong process. The idea for Agile is in the industry, and they are 50 years back, is completely unsuitable for knowledge-based industry. So this is what you also try to basically automate, fit into existing process, but this is completely wrong approach. The organizations need to be reinvented the way that they suit the knowledge-based requirements, and this must be the first before we start to implement this. This is a good approach that you have, but organizations are not ready yet for radical changes of the process.
I couldn't agree more. Recruitment is so broken. Hiring is so hard, both from a candidate perspective and from a company perspective. And if you look at geektrust.com, our website, it talks about candidates. So we have because we are technologists ourselves, we have always been candidate first. It is extremely broken, but there is so much bureaucracy in this space, it is hard to change it from the outside. The only way we can change it as a company, as Geek Trust sitting from the outside, is to slowly start fitting into the process, show value and change. While I agree with you, sir, that ideally we put in like that, from a business perspective, for us to get started, we can't go in and ask them to change their process. So we took this route, right? And as an example, when we build with AI, what did we give our customer? Right? There is, as you can see, you saw what we have built. There is a lot of things that go behind the scenes. But who is our customer? Our customer is a recruiter trying to set up an interview. So to the fourth point, working into their existing workflows, what we give them is a link to schedule an interview. That's it. So from my customer's perspective, instead of setting up my interview with Sriram, I have another interview link. I set up an interview with AI. Right? Like I said, let's park the product itself. The product has, there are debates around it, but this is all it was for the customer. So anything you're building in generative AI, one of our biggest learnings is there is so much pushback in recruitment, especially even if we were not doing this generative AI earlier, even then there would be pushback. With generative AI, you have to fit into existing processes initially, is my take, to get started. Otherwise, you can't fit into that process. There's going to be a lot of pushback. Yeah, this is just we did user research with HR folks, with candidates, and with hiring managers. A lot of upfront work, a lot of buy-in needs to happen before you can sell anything or build anything with generative AI. So this was just to show that. Okay. Question to you all. Are customers willing to buy generative AI products? Can you move, Sneha, please? What we as a company are seeing is customers will give you an opportunity. They will say, yes, let's try. But, unless one of these three is true, and this is true for any product, right? Unless one of this is true, you cannot sell anything. You either have to save cost, you have to save time, or increase revenue. So whatever, they will give you a look in, but you quickly have to move to proving what is the value, what is the business outcome you're able to derive from it, right? And for that, you have to deeply understand that domain. I'm going back to domain again. You have to deeply understand how their domain works and how you can add value right there with generative AI.
Just to dive to Sriram's talk in the morning, this is proximity impact. You're not going to get paying customers. So it has to be impact intelligence. And that is what at least we've realized in the last 18 months.
Yeah, it's good to do that.
Yeah.
So the first customer, the enterprise grade customer that we're working with, it proved out to be a little bit fortuitous, but they were running interviews and it was costing them X. With our model, with our product, they brought down cost by 60%. I'll give more context around this later. Happy to do that if there is time. Now they've come back to us saying, hey, I want to use this to increase top line. Because suppose you're TCS and you want to run 100 interviews in one day, with your existing project team of 100 people, you probably can't do that. But we can with AI. And we'll talk more about how we safeguard against bad outcomes and all of that. So this is key. Whatever you're selling with AI, even from the first sales call, we do this, which is transparency and traceability. What you, as a product manager building with generative AI products, if you don't have these two, nobody will buy your products. Nobody will use your products. Traceability is the ability to check what happened, like audit log, and transparency is to be able to see what you actually did. So quickly going back to our example, when I tell you that a Java developer that we interviewed, her score is 60, I don't know what does 60 mean, or she's good. What does that mean? I have to prove that to you with generative AI. I have to tell you she got a score of 60 because this is what we asked her, this is how she responded, this is what we asked her again. So the entire transparency of how we arrived at the score has to be there. So whatever you build with generative AI, that has to be there. The difference between an AI interview and a test is that the AI interview adapts to the candidate. If I ask you something and give me a response, my next question is based on what you have told me. I'm exploring your skills as well based on what you know. It's not a one test that meets everybody in the room, right? I can explore further and understand what are your skills. Maybe I'm checking for very simplistic data structures, but I figure out that, hey, you're great with building scaled up products, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is regular stuff. A lot of due diligence questions come up when you're using AI around fair usage, who owns the data. So these are sort of things that you need to prepare for as a product manager more than ever before with generative AI products. And to be honest, nobody knows the real answer, right? I am sending something to OpenAI and I don't know what, or rather I know, but there's no guarantee that OpenAI will conform to certain things that I am promising my customer. Okay. So, when you're building a generative AI product, a new user persona comes in. It will not always be there, but as a company like us, which believes in fair usage and making sure there are fair outcomes for everybody, a new user persona now comes in. It's a common terminology, everybody hears about this, but as a product manager, you now need to build for this new user persona. Any guesses what this is? There's a term for this, there's a very commonly used term for this as well. If I am running an AI interview for 90 minutes, what is your worry? What are your worries? You're a client, right? And you're telling me, hey, I want you to run interviews. Typical worries are, what if the candidate is stuck? What if the AI is treating the candidate unfairly? What if the candidate tries to cheat? So what do you do then?
How does he know what he needs to do?
How does he know what he needs to do? What happens now? What happens now is you put a human in the loop. When you're building generative AI agentic products, there are cases where you need to have a human in the loop. Especially for a company like us, where we are building this product out, we have done, 2,000 interviews so far. Every single interview has had a human in the loop, has had a support engineer in there to see if the candidate is stuck, to give us feedback, to make changes, to see if the assessment was unfair, if the candidate was trying to cheat, all of these things. So we do have a human in the loop right now. Some point in the future, it might go away, or it'll probably never go away. It'll probably be on demand. Right now, we have somebody all the time. Over time, it'll get to a point where that reduces. But here is a new user persona you need to think about in many cases when you're building agentic AI products, which is human in the loop. The second sort of, not necessarily a user persona, but another user goal that gets unlocked is, I'll tell you in my context. I go to recruitment teams and I tell recruitment teams, you will have a tech interviewer in your team. That never happens. Anybody working at a company which has a recruitment team in which a technical person is embedded in the team, it's very rare. I think back in the day at ThoughtWorks, we tried that, but nobody wanted to do that for too long. So it didn't work out. Now we can go to a recruitment team and tell them that I can give you a product that gives you technical skills. You can interview the candidate and you can assess the report. This is just an example in our context, but this is true across different domains. Without being a lawyer who's worked for 10, 20 years, with some sort of a training, you could have a person who can, review legal documents, right, to a certain extent. So new skills get unlocked when you build with generative AI for different sort of users, and you need to build for that as well. How can you help them? How can I help a recruiter understand what the interview outcome was, and justify it to a hiring manager who's asking for what is the feedback. This is the one that is, everybody's worry. Will AI treat our users fairly? So we need to build for, like I said earlier, transparency and traceability. These two become really, really important. Every interview report that we generate, the entire interview transcript is available with voice notes of the candidate whenever they spoke, plus a link to the entire video. Right? So these are things that you need to build into your products from the sales time itself for you to make sure you can sell. Traceability and transparency. Absolutely, like we used to talk about NFRs, right? Performance NFRs, and these are, for all practical purposes, NFRs that you need to consider, non-functional requirements that you need to consider when you're building with generative AI. Is accuracy of AI. So during the initial stages, we need to have more people reviewing this, right? Especially when you're hitting higher realms of human cognition, you need to have humans reviewing your outcomes to make sure that the AI is accurate, right? And you need to build in feedback mechanisms for your customers. All of you have used ChatGPT. They often ask you, did this answer your question? Yes, no, and so on. So you need to build in feedback mechanisms more than ever before into your products. Our biggest fear when we built this was candidates would hate it. Companies would like it because, I can save my engineering team's time. Who doesn't want that? But will candidates like it? So when you build with AI, you need to cater to every possible user, but the end user, not your buyer, the end user becomes super critical. When we built with this, we try to do our best to make sure our end users like the product. We have had 1,000 external users try the product, and our CSAT score at this point is 4.3. And this is with our current basic set of features that we have. So you need to focus on all ends of the spectrum and make sure your customers are giving feedback at all possible stages. 8 minutes left. User interaction. What opens up with AI now is voice interaction becomes super easy. Any product you build, because the transcriptions are super good, you can build for a new realm of interacting with your users, not just the UI, right? It can be, they can draw pictures, they can talk, they can do whatever you want, and generative AI gives you the ability to respond to them in that fashion. So user interaction, in my books, is one of the key things to help your AI products be successful. The AI in the backend, nobody cares, right? But you need to make sure your customers get value and they have a great user interface. You probably wouldn't have seen it, but in our AI interview, there is no talking head. We don't have a bot coming up and speaking to our user because we felt that is bad UX. Our AI interview is just on the browser. It looks like you're writing code and questions come from the side like a chat, what people are used to. We did not want to build a machine talking to our user. Probably works in some context, but right now we didn't feel that was the right user experience for folks. How do user stories change? Prompt engineering. I think initially somebody had said prompts were important. It is extremely important. How many of you have written prompts? So prompts become a really, so prompt is how you get the AI to do what you want it to do, right? That's essentially what it is. I want to show you something. I think it's the next slide. This is one prompt amongst, hundreds that we have. This is all text. So from here till here is text. This prompt's purpose is to ask the candidate, what is your approach to the problem? That's it. This entire prompt asks one question and then it deals with the response. So prompt engineering is a skill and an art to some extent, which as a product manager, you need to imbibe, you need to do by yourself to get it right, to know what the boundaries of prompt engineering are, and prompts become an integral part of user stories, is what we have seen so far. And prompts have its own life cycle. You can almost think of prompts as a user story itself. This is what I want to do. And then with us, I don't know if this is, I think it's very early to say these are the standards, is what everybody does. But in our case, product managers write prompts. Product managers write the prompt, so they're clear what the outcome is. They write the prompt, then either other product managers or our QA test the prompt out in isolation, right? And then it goes back, Yeah. The other thing is which LLM model to use. I'll try and cover that later. So after the prompt is ready, it goes into a user story, right? And we have a swim lane also saying is for prompts to be written and stuff like that. It goes into a user story for a developer to pick it up and build it into the product. Right now it's sitting outside, right? The prompt is sitting outside. We are using the playground for ChatGPT, for OpenAI to see if it works and so on. After that, it gets into the development cycle and the developer picks it up and implements it. Yeah, what are you folks seeing in your teams that are building with AI? Are developers writing prompts or separate team, prompt engineers? Wow. Where do you work? Oh, no wonder. If I had as much money as Accenture, I would also have a prompt engineering team.
15 years back, Accenture is to want us to
Tech interview. Even now, sir. Even now. Like I know my friend works at Sapient. He gets 2,500 rupees for running a tech interview. Right? There are companies that are built on running tech interviews, and we will replace them at some point. But they do. There are companies that do that. But product managers writing prompts is what we are seeing. And my wholehearted suggestion is you should write prompts. You don't need developers to write prompts. If you have been following Twitter, vibe coding is what it's all about. And you know prompts, you can vibe code yourself to building a product that nobody will use. But yes, as a POC, it looks great. Yeah, this is my biggest problem. Can you go back, Sneha? The last one. Testing is hard. Testing is hard because it's not deterministic anymore, right? You're trying to figure out the gist of the answer and trying to see if that makes sense. Yeah, you ask a question, the candidate's response may change, or for that matter, the LLM itself may change, right? Because the token context changes, a lot of things could change. You're not going to get the exact same response every single time. So what did we do? We wrote no tests, right? Easiest way out. We do manual testing today. It's in our backlog. It's in our backlog before you judge us. We need to write tests. We need to write automated tests. But right now, it's mostly manual testing that we do. Anything that we change, we have to run it manually because to figure out if this test is correct or not, it's not as easy as before, right? We know what we want to do, but it's just so hard. Yeah, change in team practices, to be honest. I'm on that, yeah. Like I said, prompts is what really is the big difference. We do sprint kickoffs where we discuss prompts, what's going to change in this prompt, how do we change it, and so on.
Even though the product managers write prompts, it's super important for the entire team, from devs, QAs, designers, to understand the prompts, because otherwise it's hard to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, at least you should know what will change as a result of this prompt, what are you trying to achieve, and so on. Test automation. Now, this is something, again, you saw that one prompt that I showed you, that is for one particular interaction. Like that, we have hundreds of prompts. Prompts refactoring is a nightmare, right? It's like you're building Jenga blocks, right? You change one, you don't know if everything will fall apart. So test automation becomes really important. But prompt refactoring is something new, which I think it will mature. There will be tools that becomes available for you to do it easier and easier. But right now, it is very hard. So we almost have to put everything on hold when we change a prompt, do the entire regression cycle, and make sure that we are good to go with this prompt. And what we also notice is when you use the playground versus when you hit the APIs. When we write prompts, right, we use the OpenAI playground, which is a website where you can try different things. But when you move it to production, now you're hitting their APIs. So something might be different from what you did in the playground versus what you are hitting in the APIs. And that results in failures too. Yeah, this is my, I think, last slide. There are a ton load of tools. There are a lot of options of what you want to build. We started using RAGs, right? And we stopped. Because in the use case that we are in, we could not afford any loss in context, right? Our users will not use our product if you repeat a question, right? We are running, our agentic AI products works for 90 minutes interacting with the user, right? If I asked you, hey, tell me, as a simple question, SQL or no SQL, and then 30 minutes later, I can't ask you the same question again. In fact, I need to remember what you said earlier as well. So, net, what I'm saying is there's a lot of tools, but what we do is this. Keep it really simple. Use the tools you need. Go back to basics. Make sure you're building something your customers want at enterprise grade reliability. Forget the tools, forget the noise. In fact, we have not changed our model. In the last 6 months, we've been running on the same model. New models have come. But our belief is that models will be like, your like AWS, GCP. It doesn't matter what model you use. We're working on the same model because these are just, at some point, these are just commodities, right? Maybe Claude is better for something, that's fine. But focus on building an end-to-end use case that your customer will pay for at enterprise-grade reliability. That is our focus. Tools are secondary, it doesn't matter. That, I think I'm right on time. Yes, Sneha, last slide? Done? Yeah, I don't know if you have time for Q&A or yes.
No,
We don't have time for Q&A. Yeah, sure. We are around till lunchtime. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for.
Thank you, Sneha and Krishnan, for this wonderful session on your new idea on the recruitments. And yeah, I think there'll be a lot of buyers for this product. I think in the
Thank you,
coming
man.
days.